Welcome to Morning Coffee with Kazan Academy. I'm Deanna, and today I want to talk to you about something that's actually quite relevant in the modern world. There's an issue with trusting the media, trusting sources, and we hear these things being thrown around and we watch the news and we're not sure really who to believe, particularly when it comes to partisan politics. And this isn't going to be a political video, but it is talking about trust in sources and trusting the media, and how do we know what is actually truth? And these are also issues that they had in the ancient world and through the span of time since we've had writing and historical sources. So if we can't even trust our sources today, how do we trust what came before us, the historical sources? And this is an issue that we can actually use and borrow from historians that we can apply to the modern world. And so there are some problems that we have with historical sources. For instance, Herodotus, who's considered to be the father of history, he went around Egypt, Mesopotamia, and we know a lot about these early civilizations from his writings. But some of the stuff seems a little fantastical. We're not really sure. How would we be able to corroborate? What we need to do is go back and look at Mesopotamian sources and Egyptian sources and see if we can validate what he said. And both of those civilizations had writing, and so we can go back and see, well, he said this about Babylon. Do we see it anywhere else in the either historic record, or with these ancient civilizations, we can look at the archaeological record. So that is one way that we can deal with sources, is to corroborate what is being said. We can do this in the modern world. We can go look up a legislative bill if we need to. If we hear something, if we see a meme, or if we see someone saying something, we can actually go and read that bill. Well, that's what we have to do for primary sources. So there's another really great historian writing in the Roman era, the Roman Empire, and his name is Diogenes Laertius. And we rely on him quite a bit here at the Kazan Academy for both our curriculum for middle and high school, but also for our New Explorers program. And what he did is that he cited his source, which is brilliant. So now we can go back and look at those sources. One little caveat with ancient sources, though, is that a lot of what he had available to him, we don't have today. But the fact that he cited his source gives him at least a little bit of credibility. So what we need to do is look closer to the source to find the truth. Go find your sources. So if you're looking at the ancient Greeks, don't just go read a secondary book, what we call a secondary source. Don't read only a book that was written in the modern world about the Greeks. Definitely, that's a great place to start. One thing, if you wanted to look at a book about history, to look for is in the back. Do they cite their sources? And if they don't, then maybe it's not quite as credible. And that's what we need when we're looking at any information, whether we're looking at the ancient world, the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, or the modern world. We need to understand exactly what was said, who said it, and the context, which is super important. How was it said? So if you find a bibliography in a secondary source, say a modern, telling of the Trojan War, then what you'll want to do is go to that bibliography and look at those sources. If they're only using other modern sources, then go to those modern sources and see if they have a bibliography. And yes, it sounds like, I'm sending you on a rabbit hole. I'm sending you on a rabbit hole. If you want to know truth, if you really want to understand something, then you've got to do your due diligence. It's really important. Whether you're looking at, a Facebook meme that gets you a little bit riled up, or if you really want to understand something that happened in the past. So I will leave you with that. I'm going to go check my sources, and I'm off to work. Have a great day.